Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Daksh Gaur, an MP here at the World Teen Parliament and an 8th grader from St. Paul's High School, Hyderabad. And what an absolute honor it is to have each and every one of you with us today. Welcome to the 52nd Parliamentary Session of the World Teen Parliament, a place where young voices don't just echo in a room but rise and reach the ears of the world. So now, let me introduce our distinguished guests for today. Firstly, joining us from the beautiful city of Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, we have Honorable Otgon Saranchuluun, a sitting member in the Parliament of Mongolia and a powerful voice for her people. Next, gracing us all the way from the beautiful island nation of Madagascar, we have Honorable Raby Gabrielle, a deputy at the National Assembly of Madagascar and a distinguished magistrate. To both of you, your presence here today is not just valued, it's truly and deeply cherished. We are absolutely delighted to have you here with us today. We are also honored to be joined by Mr. Daksh Gaur, the founder of Blub World, the World Teen Awards, and the World Teen Parliament itself. Now, as Kofi Annan once said, we may all have come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. And that brings us beautifully into today's session. Should nations prioritize their own national interest over global cooperation? A bold, fierce question that decides how nations connect, how they clash, and ultimately how humanity moves forward together. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Once again, a very warm and heartfelt welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Laksh Chavan, for that wonderful and energizing welcome address. It truly set the tone for today's session. Before we begin, I would also like to introduce our French to English translator, MP Sanchit Kumar Sharma, for ensuring this session remains inclusive and accessible to all. We truly appreciate Sanchit's contribution. Now I invite Mr. Daksh Gaur to set today's
The
tone.
World Teen Parliament was founded with a very simple idea that let's find out the most amazing teenagers across the globe and give them some power and some resource, and let's see what they can do with it. And as a part of that, every month we give them an opportunity to interact with sitting members of parliament from different countries. And we're very happy to tell all of you that in the last 4 years, the World Teen Parliament and this particular session that you're all sitting in has been attended and addressed by sitting MPs from more than 50 nations. And each year, the World Teen Parliament gets participation from more than 50 countries where teenagers share their ideas of world improvement, people vote for them, and then the top 100 teens become members of parliament. So if you don't have your country at the World Teen Parliament, I would be a little sad for that. But if it's not there, make sure that they participate in the next election and you have a representative at the World Teen Parliament. Because at the moment, this is the only elected global parliament of teenagers that exists on the face of the earth. So welcome all of you to the World Teen Parliament once again. Today's topic revolves around something that we're all experiencing imminently. The question really is not, do you put your nation first or do you put the world first? The question is, do we want to stay in the rule of law or do we want to stay in the rule of the jungle? What do we decide? Do only resources decide where the world will move? Will empathy decide it? Will there be some sort of a justice? Or at the most, individuals sitting in powerful chairs could take decisions for their own benefits and not for the benefit of everyone. So, what is it? Are you the custodian of that power or you hold that power in whichever way you want to hold it? This is the transition between individual aspiration and the collective aspiration. So, what do policymakers think about it? Do they think there's a shift in place, or do they think it's just a disturbance that will pass off, or they think it's not even a disturbance, it's just the way life
Further
is?
ado, I invite our distinguished speakers to share their speeches on today's topic. Should countries prioritize national interest over global cooperation? May I first invite Ms. Sarah to begin with her speech?
Okay, thank you very much. Distinguished guests, organizers, honorable young members of World Teen Parliament. I'm very honored to stand before you today, not because you are the leader of tomorrow. You already leaders of today. Society often asks, when will young people be ready to lead? I believe real question must be, when will the world be ready to trust young people with leadership? I wanted to share my ideas by following 5 points. The first point is the true role of the parliamentarian. We have the role of to listen. They hear their voice before speak on their behalf. The second role is to decide, but turn complex problems into policy and bold ideas into action. And the third role is to protect, safeguard justice, human rights, and our collection future. Remember, power without responsibility is very dangerous. So my second point to share you today is, you have inherent power. Your power is to question, ask. Your power is to create. So create your ideas. And then your power to connect across the borders. Today we have connecting from different countries from the world by internet, by our wishes. Today, young person with integrity and an internet connection can start global movement. Never confuse your with weakness. So being young is not weakness. The third point I want to share you is seeking opportunities. Talent is everywhere. In every child, every teens have the talent, but opportunity is not. So my advice is simple. Knock on the door. You have many doors that will open to you. If one stays closed, then knock 10 more doors, because don't misunderstand your opportunity this world. Join networks, apply for scholarship. They'll make the list of the scholarship you can try. Write to institutions. Volunteer your time first. Your credentials will follow. A mentor is not someone who only praises you. A true mentor is someone who challenges you to grow. So don't avoid someone who seems to be harsh, like your teachers, some teachers. The fourth point to share it today is expectation and responsibility. Because I don't expect perfection from you, but I do expect courage. You need courage. Be the generation that speaks with facts. When I speak with my students, teens, if they have some facts, then our dialogue will be more interesting and then more go to deep. Be the generation that disagrees without hate. So don't hate. Without knowledge, without respect, and then just understand them, not hate. Be the generation that includes those left behind. You have friends, you have relatives, those who have vulnerabilities. Like me, I lost my leg when I was childhood, and I'm becoming disabled person. So I left behind. So if you have friends around you, then you can include them. 5, the duty of today's leaders. Today in our meetings, we have many leaders. This brings you in here in this stage. To my fellow leaders too. Young people don't need charity. They need access. They need the seat at the decision-making table. Our duty is to open doors through mentorship, internship, and genuine partnership. So dear young parliamentarians, don't wait to be chosen. Just prepare yourself. Don't wait for the future. Build it. When history asks what your generation did, let the answer be, we listened, we acted, we united, and then we led, and then we did something. So yeah, that was my 5 points to share you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech, Miss Sarah. May I now invite Miss Raby Gabrielle to say her speech?
Merci beaucoup. de m'avoir donné la parole. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour à tous. Je suis Raby Savatsarah Gabrielle, députée de Madagascar, et je vais parler brièvement de quelques points avec vous, jeunes influenceurs et jeunes députés du Parlement mondial des jeunes. Est-ce que vous souhaitez que je continue ou je prends un peu de temps pour la traduction?
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests in your respective ranks and titles, good day to all. I'm Raby Savatsarah Gabrielle, Member of Parliament from Madagascar, and I will briefly discuss a few points with you, influencers and young MPs of the World Teen Parliament.
En tant que député, voici un aperçu global de notre rôle, des pouvoirs et responsabilités. Un député est un membre de l'Assemblée nationale, élu au suffrage universel direct pour un mandat de 4 à 5 ans, et il joue un rôle crucial dans le système démocratique en tant que représentant de la nation et des intérêts de sa circonscription. Son rôle se décline en trois axes principaux. La législation, c'est-à-dire voter les lois, apporter des amendements. Pouvoir budgétaire, c'est-à-dire le pouvoir souverain de voter le budget de l'État. Et le contrôle de l'action du gouvernement qui se fait par la question ou l'interpellation du gouvernement, la création de commissions d'enquête, l'évaluation des politiques publiques. Le caractéristique principal d'un régime parlementaire est la collaboration des pouvoirs et la responsabilité politique du gouvernement devant le Parlement. Il y a ce qu'on appelle la motion de censure, par laquelle le parlementaire peut voter pour désapprouver la politique du gouvernement et le contraindre à la démission. Ensuite, il y a la question de confiance par lequel le gouvernement engage sa responsabilité sur un texte ou un programme, et si le Parlement vote contre, le gouvernement doit partir. Et bien que élus localement, les députés représentent l'Assemblée du peuple, donc représentent la nation et non seulement sa circonscription. Et en tant qu'élus, dans un système multipartite, ils représentent différentes tendances politiques permettant à la diversité des opinions de s'exprimer dans le processus décisionnel. Mais je souligne que dans les pays en voie de développement comme Madagascar, le rôle des députés est parfois marqué par des attentes élevées de la population en matière de développement, en faisant face aussi aux défis d'indépendance vis-à-vis de l'exécutif.
Role, powers, and responsibilities of a Member of Parliament. A Member of Parliament is a member of the National Assembly elected by direct universal suffrage for a term of 4 to 5 years. They play a crucial role in the democratic system as representatives of the nation and the interests of their constituency. Their role is structured around three main areas: legislation, voting on laws and proposing amendments; budgetary power, the sovereign authority to vote on the state budget; oversight of government action through questioning, formal inquiries, investigative committees, and evaluation of public policies. The key feature of a parliamentary system is the collaboration between powers and the political accountability of the government to parliament. Through a motion of censure, parliamentarians can vote to disapprove government policy and force its resignation. Additionally, through a vote of confidence, the government commits its responsibility on a text or program. If Parliament votes against it, the government must resign. Although elected locally, a Member of Parliament represents the entire nation, not just their constituency. In a multi-party system, they represent diverse political perspectives, allowing a variety of opinions to be expressed in decision-making. However, I would like to emphasize that in developing countries like Madagascar, the role of MPs is sometimes marked by high expectations from the population regarding development, while also facing the challenge of independence from the executive branch.
Et le deuxième point que je veux partager, c'est que les pouvoirs dont disposent les jeunes d'aujourd'hui et quels changements peuvent-ils apporter pour améliorer le monde de demain. Et les jeunes ont dépassé leur statut actuellement, statut traditionnel d'apprenti citoyen pour devenir des acteurs immédiats de la transformation sociale. Et avec la maîtrise de l'influence numérique, ils réinventent le monde en brisant les vieux modèles. Donc les jeunes utilisent les réseaux sociaux non seulement pour le divertissement, mais comme des plateformes de mobilisation massive. Et l'avantage de ces plateformes, c'est la rapidité dans l'expression des idées, la défense d'une cause locale, ainsi que la déconstruction des préjugés en utilisant par exemple l'humour et le format vidéo pour sensibiliser face aux injustices sociales ou aux harcèlements de manière plus efficace que les campagnes officielles traditionnelles. En outre, nous voyons beaucoup plus de jeunes qui sont dans l'activisme climatique et ils placent aujourd'hui l'urgence écologique au sommet de l'agenda politique. Et en tant que consommateurs, les jeunes privilégient les marques éthiques, forçant ainsi les industries à être plus transparentes. Et les jeunes ont également une vision plus inclusive de la société et ils sont souvent en première ligne pour la défense des mouvements pour l'égalité de genre, la lutte contre le racisme et l'inclusion des minorités.
Power do young people have today and what change can they bring? Young people have moved beyond their traditional roles as citizens in training to become active agents of social transformation. Young people, with their master of digital influence, they are reshaping the world by breaking old models. They use social media not only for entertainment, but as powerful tools for large scale mobilization. Sharing is about the power that young people possess today and what changes they can make to improve the world of tomorrow. Young people have transcended their traditional status as apprentice citizens to become immediate agents of social influence. They are reinventing the world by breaking old models. Their advantages include rapid spread of ideas, advocacy for local issues, breaking stereotypes using humor and video formats, raising awareness about social injustice and harassment more effectively than traditional campaigns. Moreover, young people are involved in climate activism, placing environment urgency at the top of the political agenda. As consumers, they prioritize ethical brands, pushing industries toward greater transparency. Young people also promote a more inclusive vision of society, often leading movements for gender equality, anti-racism, and minority inclusion.
Et sur la troisième point que je voudrais partager, c'est par rapport à l'aide, au conseil ou par rapport aux recherches de financement. Et pour transformer leur vision en action, les jeunes doivent passer de l'engagement individuel à l'exploitation des réseaux plus structurés. Donc, ils peuvent obtenir auprès des organismes internationaux qui ont des branches dédié exclusivement aux jeunes. Il s'agit notamment de l'UNICEF ou de l'UNESCO et ils peuvent également faire des recherches et des financements auprès des institutions comme le Diana Award, le Global Youth Mobilization ou encore chercher des universités qui offrent des bourses d'études en leadership. Et aussi, en fait, actuellement, ils peuvent trouver des mentors sur des plateformes en ligne comme LinkedIn, le réseau Forum économique mondial ou d'autres plateformes de concours et d'innovation.
I would like to share concerns guidance, fundraising, and how young people transform their vision into action. They need to move from individual engagement to leveraging more structured networks. They can seek support from international organizations dedicated to youth, such as UNICEF, Voices of Youth, a platform for expression and global campaigns on education and rights. UNESCO offers youth forums and supports projects related to education and heritage. They can also research and seek funding from institutions like Diana from Global Mobilization or look for universities offering leadership scholarships. Currently, they can also find mentors on online platforms like the World Economic Forum or other competition and innovation platforms.
Le quatrième point que je voudrais partager pour les jeunes députés, c'est pour pouvoir vraiment améliorer le monde, c'est par rapport à cette génération qui est fort de leur proximité avec les réalités. Ces nouvelles générations, les jeunes disposent d'un levier unique pour transformer la société. Leur action se concentre généralement sur l'innovation, l'éthique et les visions à long terme. Donc aujourd'hui, ils peuvent moderniser la législation par la nouvelle technologie. Les élus sont souvent, les jeunes plutôt, élus sont souvent des pionniers dans l'intégration du numérique au service de l'État. Donc, ces outils numériques sont un atout pour la redevabilité envers les citoyens. Afin d'avoir une transparence absolue et radicale durant leur mandat, les jeunes peuvent utiliser ces outils pour rendre compte en temps réel et impliquer les citoyens dans l'écriture des lois. Avec l'évolution aussi du monde actuel, les jeunes sont idéalement placés pour porter des législations visionnaires qui répondent aux défis de long terme. Leurs projets de loi pourront se concentrer généralement sur la durabilité environnementale, la souveraineté numérique, le renouveau démocratique ou porter aussi des projets de loi sur l'amélioration du système éducatif et l'inclusion sociale ou le soutien aux jeunes créateurs et entrepreneurs. Et enfin, les jeunes sont vraiment un atout non négligeable pour porter une diplomatie parlementaire nouvelle. Ils peuvent utiliser leur réseau pour créer des ponts entre les nations sur des enjeux globaux de long terme et stabiliser les relations internationales, notamment sur la question de prévention de conflits et de paix, la défense de la démocratie et la promotion des valeurs universelles.
I would like to share this for young people who are members of parliament. It is to be able to really improve the world. It is in relation to their generation which is strong in their proximity to realities. These new generations, young people have a unique lever to transform society. Their action is generally focused on innovation, ethics, and long-term vision. They can modernize legislation through technology. Young MPs are pioneers in integrating digital tools into governance. These tools enhance accountability and transparency, allowing real-time communication with citizens and participatory lawmaking. Promoting forward-thinking policies. They are well positioned to propose visionary laws addressing long-term challenges such as environmental sustainability, digital sovereignty, democratic renewal. They can also work on improving education systems. Young people are ideally positioned to champion visionary legislation that addresses long-term challenges. Their bills can generally focus on environmental sustainability and also social inclusion or supporting young creators and entrepreneurs. Finally, young people possess a significant potential for fostering a new kind of parliamentary democracy. They can use their networks to build bridges between nations on long-term global issues and to stabilize international relations, particularly regarding conflict prevention and peace, the defense of democracy, and the promotion of universal values.
Et pour terminer mon intervention, voici quelques informations pertinentes sur le réseau parlementaire des jeunes pour pouvoir obtenir de l'aide, du mentorat ou du financement, parce que ces jeunes ont la possibilité de s'appuyer sur des réseaux spécialisés, des organisations internationales et des programmes de bourse dédiés à la jeunesse politique. Il y a l'Union interparlementaire, l'Assemblée parlementaire de la francophonie, l'Initiative mondiale des jeunes parlementaires. Il y a aussi pour les programmes de mentorat et conseil le mentorat parlementaire, que ce soit national ou régional, la Gorée Institute, le CAP un mentorat qui est une politique municipale. Et il y a aussi les bourses parlementaires internationales du Bundestag. Et il y a le fonds des offres de financement pour le Youth Empowerment Fund. Et il y a le Parlement francophone des jeunes, qui est une organisation avec l'Assemblée parlementaire de la francophonie. Et il y a aussi le plateforme Un jeune, une solution en France. Et il y a le programme de promotion de l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes qui soutient des projets des jeunes de 16 à 30 ans dans l'espace francophone. Donc, je suis vraiment ravie de partager cette séance avec vous, chers influenceurs, chers jeunes députés, et je vous remercie pour votre attention.
For support, mentorship, and funding. Young MPs can rely on specialized networks, international organizations, and school programs, including Interparliamentary Union, IPU, Forum of Young Parliamentarians, Parliamentary Assembly of the Francophones, APF, Youth Parliamentarians Network, Global Young Parliamentarians Initiative by the World Bank. Other mentorship programs include parliamentary mentorship programs, national or regional, Gore Institute, leadership and mentoring programs, especially in the Sahel, Municipal mentorship initiatives like Ozila Municipal in Quebec, funding and opportunities, Bundestag International Parliamentary Scholarships, Youth Empowerment Fund funding up to 5,000 euros, Francophone Youth Parliament, and One Youth, One Solution platform, which is in France. CONFEJES supporting youth entrepreneurship projects ages 16 to 30. Thank you for your attention.
But the current Mongolian nation sits in a very unique kind of a situation. Mongolia is a landlocked country, and you sit between two of the most powerful nations in the world. You are that nation who has to basically, handle this paradox of freedom against survival, the idea of choice against being able to stay there as a nation. You sit between two conflicting forces who can, interfere in your decision making at any point of time. So, to all the children who are there on this call, Mongolia is between Russia and China. And they have to balance power with each of their internal and external moves, because both of these nations keep looking at Mongolia at every point of time. To deal with this kind of a situation every single day, where to put the national interest ahead and where to put the global interest ahead while you're dealing with such powerful nations on both of your sides.
Right now, we have a 3.5 million population, and then more than 30% of the population is young people. So we have, as you said, we have two big nations, and then we have third nations policy too, like third friendship country policy too, in a policy level. But our children, the young people, have some challenges because of the social transition. We have a transition after the communism in post-socialist countries. So there is a cultural difference. Like our grandparents, our mothers, they speak Russia mostly, and then they have everyday life has some kind of Russian influences in the everyday life, friendship, social network, and then also some kind of organization too, and then some rewarding system, some kind of groups. They have still the influence of this socialist influences. But in the other world, in other side, our young generation, our young people have influence from Korean culture, because we have Korean, so many people who moved to Korea and then also US. So there is like huge influences from Korea and then also US and Western culture, Western part of the cultures, and then such things in everyday life. So it's challenging that to teach our young people, young generation, how to survive between all this cultural war by yourself, by your nation. Mongolia is nomadic because they move from the one place to other place because of the herders. But it's not only the herdsman's issue. It's about how they eating, sleeping, and then how they take care of each other. They live together by family. Like we have in that kind, we have little bit similar with India. Like we have very strong kinship by the family. So we have in our education system, we are trying to teach our children what is Mongolian. So, but more like not like nomadic, because more than 60% of us are moved to the city. We urbanize it. So in countryside, the people who still living in the countryside, but not like full 100, nomadic. So they are semi-nomadic. So we are trying to teach our children to how to become nomadic, because there are like tons of advantages living like nomadic in countryside, where the nomadic life is very cost effective, and then also very friendly for nature, and then very supportive to each other, and then also very healthy lifestyle. So in education system and then also in national programs, we are trying to teach and then also organizing some campaigns to teach Mongolian. The Mongolian, behind the Mongolian means there is some semi-nomadic programs. Like we teach our kids how to ride the horses or archeries or helping each other and then doing volunteer for our society and also nature. So that's the first thing we are doing as a working in a policy level in last few years, but still also we cannot protect our young people from this internet and then also this huge massive influence from the entertainment also media, which is changing their mindset into some more Western or some kind of Korean or some kind of non-Mongolians. So that's the weekend. So since we can't change our young people's mindset, but we can change our education system and also we can change our policy to the future. So we just now working on that part, like through the basic education system and then also basic cultural policy. So we are trying to educate and then also teach them this based on nomadic lifestyle. So from the nomadic lifestyles, they really can realize our awareness, understanding what is the nation, what is the Mongolian and nomadic. So that's the big very big, how to say, advocacy and a massive campaign by nationwide for right now in a bigger way, yeah. But in specifically during the holidays and during the some cultural events, young people tend to more wear Mongolian costumes, the Mongolian some like archery, they're trying to ride a horse or respecting each other, or Mongolian sport, the wrestling, they are tending to more interest, but not so many. And then in language, in everyday language, it's complicated because most of the media and then social media is on English. Even today, some education is half of education is also shifting to the English too. So it's also sometimes it's really not good for our children, but we have to respect the global part. So it's like balanced, it's like 50-50. So I can't say like, we are preferred like nations or we prefer global. So it's like just getting the balance and then trying to be really balanced
Now
this
move to
way.
the interactive segment of today's session. We have received a series of excellent questions from our team leaders. So let us begin.
Merci Shanoun Singh pour votre question. Vous avez demandé on demande souvent aux pays en développement de coopérer à l'échelle mondiale, mais les systèmes mondiaux sont façonnés par les pays les plus forts. Donc, comment une coopération peut-elle être véritablement équitable? Effectivement, vous avez raison. Déjà, le monde est façonné d'une manière où il y a les pays entre guillemets occidentaux qui sont vraiment qui tiennent la clé du monde entier, et il y a les pays en voie de développement qui, eux, en fait, qui sont à la traîne déjà dans cet développement, et il y a des pressions systématiques vis-à-vis que ce soit de la politique nationale de ces pays en développement ou leur politique internationale. Je prends l'exemple de Madagascar. Madagascar est un pays qui a été colonisé par la France. Mais avant d'être colonisé par la France, il y a les Britanniques aussi qui étaient à Madagascar. Donc, la France et l'Angleterre ont décidé de partager les quelques îles de l'océan Indien, dont l'île Maurice a été attribuée aux Anglais et Madagascar à la France. Et la politique malgache depuis l'indépendance a été façonnés par rapport à la politique française. Nos lois, en fait, sont issues des lois françaises. Nos normes juridiques sont des copies collées du système français. Donc, il y a cette, je veux dire, incompatibilité entre les réalités malgaches, mais aussi cette imposition involontaire du système français dans notre norme nationale. Donc, ça devient un peu compliqué pour les jeunes parce que le système éducatif malgache, par exemple, est vraiment copié du système éducatif français, alors que majorité des jeunes malgaches, je vais dire 80% des jeunes malgaches ne parlent même pas français. Donc, c'est déjà un problématique. On essaie d'inculquer la démocratie dans notre société, alors que la démocratie à l'occidentaux, je veux dire, n'est pas vraiment compatible aux réalités sociales dans les pays en développement. Donc, on nous force des fois à suivre l'exemple de ces pays, alors que en réalité, il y a des systèmes sociaux qui ne sont pas vraiment adaptés à ces démocraties-là. Donc, effectivement, comme votre question, le système mondial sont vraiment façonnés à ce que c'est les grandes pays, les grandes puissances, en fait, qui imposent leurs règles vis-à-vis de ces pays en voie de développement. Et on voit ça dans toutes les aides publiques au développement. Donc, Madagascar, par exemple, nous, par rapport à ces aides, on dépend à presque à 50%, 60%, 70% de nos budgets nationaux de l'aide publique au développement, que ce soit de l'Union européenne, de la Banque mondiale ou des coopérations bilatérales entre États. Et le pire encore dans tout ça, c'est que les pays en développement sont aussi déchirés par rapport à la politique étrangère ou la politique de ces grandes puissances. Par exemple, actuellement, la politique malgache est plus orientée vers les Russes. Alors que avant la crise qui a été apportée par la génération Z, qui a eu lieu en octobre 2025 à Madagascar, notre politique étrangère, l'aide publique malgache était plus orientée avec les pays qui sont dans l'Union européenne, avec les États-Unis. Donc, effectivement, c'est vraiment compliqué d'avoir une coopération que ce soit politique, économique stable avec les grandes puissances et une telle coopération n'est pas vraiment équitable, mais on ne peut rien faire parce que on dépend vraiment financièrement de ces grandes puissances-là. Merci. Je ne sais pas si j'ai pu répondre à votre question.
Thank you for your question. You asked what is often asked of developing countries to cooperate on a global scale, but the global system is shaped by the strongest countries, so at least can cooperation be truly and equitably effective? Indeed, you are right. The world is shaped in such a way that there are the so-called Western countries that really hold the key to the whole world, and there are developing countries that are already lagging behind in development, and there are pressures, not systematic, regarding both the national policies of developing countries and their international policies. And when it comes to Madagascar, it becomes a bit complicated for young people because the Malagasy education system, for example, is really a copy of French education system. While the majority of young Malagasy people, I'd say 80% of young Malagasy people, don't even speak French. So that's already a problem. We try to instill democracy in our society, but Western democracy, and I mean, it's not really incompatible with the social realities in developing countries. So we are sometimes forced to follow the example of the ICC, even though in reality, there are social systems that aren't really adapted to these democracies. So indeed, as you ask the global system, they are really shaped by what the big players pay for, the screen of power. In fact, who imposes their milk? The rules with respect to the CPIs sense developments, and we see this in all public development aid. So Madagascar, for example, in relation to its aid in bridges. %170 of our budgets are allocated to national aid and development, whether from the European Union, the World Bank, or bilateral cooperation between the United States. And the worst part is that developing countries are also torn apart by foreign policy, or rather by the current policy of developing countries, which is heavily oriented towards major powers. For example, Madagascar's policy is more geared towards Russia.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Riti. I'm from India and I'm from grade 9. My question is to Miss Otgon Saranchuluun, and my question is that is there a fair and clear way to decide when global good should come before national interest, or is it always influenced by power and politics?
I think it's always influenced by power and politics. But remember that any big movement can start zero budget, because politics always connected with money. Behind the politics, there is because of the money. But don't forget that young people can start any movement, any advocacy, any campaign with zero budget, because we have this free, open, the system which we call internet. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have these smartphones, we have this AI. So sometimes the people who are, when I was a child, when I was a teenager, when I was a student, sometimes adults' decision was wrong. Like, I think, like, why they decide or make a decision without me from my issues. So but during this time, I didn't have internet, or I didn't have these devices. So just don't lose your faith. Don't lose your faith, because we have because of this internet, we have this media generation. So just only they win the politics, and money is our faith and also our integrity. So if you start one single action just by yourself, then bring one or two more friends, then it will be group, then volunteering, then getting bigger, than network. So and any single small action could be win this sometimes complicated system. So that's my question for you, because I don't want to frustrate the young people sometimes. Thank you. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Just one thing is, you did something for yourself, then this is you win. Like, you can change many people's life, but you can change yours. You can change someone, then this is the win. So I think however, we have to focus on the global or national level, but in this age, the young generation can start, because yourself is thinking about from yourself is the beginning. So if you change your thoughts and mindset inside, like, okay, this is wrong, then you can do the action. So this is the politics also, because I think the MP, my other guest MP, also have same mind, because however, in the parliament level, we working and then making a decision for others, but we also have always challenge inside us, like we always have dilemma. So that's there is not like right or wrong answers. So just the most right question is inside you. So if you win your bad thoughts, then you can win. So that's my question.
Thank you for this opportunity for letting me talk. My name is Tashanjiku. I come from Kenya, Mary Hill Girls High School in Kiambu. And my question is to Miss Otgon from Mongolia. The question is, how much can working with other countries help a nation in the long run instead of causing problems for it? Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, impactful means I lost my leg when I was a child because of the I was riding a horse and then I fell from the horse and then I lost my leg and then I just become, as I mentioned before, the people with disability. So I know many friends of me, those have disabled or children with some kind of diseases. They don't have the warm apartments. They live in Mongolian traditional care. So we need to do a decision that some apartment loans, some apartment policy has to be inclusive for them. So I worked in Ministry of Urban and Ministry of the Buildings, and then we added the number of the people who can get this loans program, loans program, increase it. So out of like 100 new apartments, there was a 5% quote for people with disability. But after my advocacy, this 5% goes to 10%. I mean, 10% of the apartment loans goes to people with disability. So that was the one decisions, the impactful decisions I think I have made for people with disability. So, and then another impactful decision that I worked since I get in parliament was I invited people with experience of politics and legal profession. I invited them to co-advisor in parliament member. I mean, I invited older people, like, because when young people goes to policy area, sometimes there was a the gap between people with old age and people with young age. So, but people like who is in 60, 70, they have still skills, they have still experiences, knowledge of how to make policies in their expertise, you know. So I started this program called Open Parliament in Mongolia. Then we invited people with experiences. So we have now, then we have 13 older people who have experience of this policy making decisions into working with 13 parliamentarians. In example, I have one co-advisor who have pensioned but who have experience of domestic violence issue. Then I invited them into the parliament. So that was the second impactful decision. So in that kind of the decisions I made in last year. So that was very nice question. Thank you, Tasha. I have my report. Then we didn't publish it yet, but the report I last 1.5 years I translated into English in my Facebook page, and then I would love to share when I finish it. So you can just see like, oh, okay, this could be a work. Like, and then I'm happy to join. I'm happy to invite you to see my page. I mean, I use Facebook, just the only free template that I can use for right now. Did I answer your question, Tasha? So when you become when you become a parliament member in your country, Tasha, don't forget your older experts, okay? Like invite them.
De m'avoir redonné la parole. Bah, la séance d'aujourd'hui, je pense, a été très active. Donc, par rapport à la participation des jeunes, je pense que beaucoup veulent encore poser des questions, mais le temps nous imparti a été déjà terminé. Mais je pense que à travers les interventions des trois personnes qui ont posé la question tout à l'heure. Je pense que c'est très, très pertinente. Et moi, ce que je voudrais vraiment dire à vous, chers jeunes, c'est que vous êtes l'avenir du monde entier. Donc, il ne faut pas hésiter. Il faut vraiment euh, oser prendre la parole, mais surtout, il ne suffit pas aussi de prendre la parole, mais vraiment s'engager dans des actions concrètes. Parce qu'il y a beaucoup à faire. Il y a beaucoup à faire dans ce monde, que ce soit la justice climatique, l'éducation du futur, l'inclusion des jeunes et des femmes. Il y a beaucoup de choses à faire. Donc, il faut vraiment avoir cette capacité de vouloir faire quelque chose et puis de n'attendre rien de personne parce que si vous n'osez pas, qui va alors faire quelque chose à votre place? Donc, pour ma part, je reste ouvert avec vous pour des questions ou des discussions, que ce soit par mail ou par WhatsApp. Je peux partager avec vous mes coordonnées et qu'on peut continuer nos discussions individuellement. Mais ce que je veux dire, en fait, c'est qu'il ne faut pas qu'on se trompe par rapport à tout ce qui se passe dans le monde entier actuellement. Il ne faut pas aussi, en fait, qu'on a cette impression qu'on nous impose notre choix. Vous avez le choix de faire ce qui est mieux. Vous avez le devoir d'agir. Donc, n'attendez personne. Rassemblez vos forces, activez votre réseau et nous, les aînés, nous sommes là pour vous appuyer, pour vous aider. Merci.
Thank you for giving me the floor again at today's session. I think it was very active, especially regarding the participation of young people. I think many of them still wanted to ask questions, but our time was already up. However, I think that through the interventions of the 3 or 4 people who asked the question earlier, I think it was very relevant. And what I really want to say to you, young people, is that you are the future of the whole world. So you must not hesitate. You really must take the plunge and speak up. But above all, it's not enough to just speak up. You must commit to concrete actions because there are many issues in the world, whether it's justice, climate change, the education of the future, or the inclusion of young people and women. There is a lot to be done. So you really need to have the will to do something and then not expect it from anyone else. Because if you don't dare, who will do it for you? So for my part, I remain open with you for questions or discussions, whether by email or WhatsApp. I can share my contact information with you and we can continue our discussions individually. But what I mean is that we must not be mistaken about everything that's happening in the world right now. We also must not, in fact, when we have this impression of today's world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then it was very lovely to answer the questions and then also meet you today. So I would like to say the policy advocacy, and then also digital activism, and then economic pressure, and then also artist activism, all young people can do in any country and any place, anywhere. So you can just meet each other, and then also we can start anything. So this is all power of the networking. So I just send my Facebook page in your chat part, and then if you have any questions, anyone connections, then don't hesitate to contact me. So don't forget that you say like don't forget that you have a power, the power of the network, and then power of the time, and then you have talent, and then you have also power of the question. So question is biggest power, and then also the biggest power is connection. So we have this technology. So next time, I think I see you next time. So thank you very much. And then also you might have not one people inside yourself. In example, I have like 2, 3 Sahara inside my body. So talk each other and then also understand like each other, and then make decision first inside you, then spread with your friend and then family, and then make use this for broader connections. So thank you, teen parliamentarians. Thank you, organizers. I'm so happy to join here today.
Thank you for such wonderful remarks. As we come to the end of this inspiring 52nd parliamentary session of the World Teen Parliament, I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to our special guests Miss Sarah and Miss Raby Gabrielle. Thank you for your time and for sharing such powerful insights. You have reminded us that leadership is not about age, but about action. To all our speakers and participants, thank you for your courage, your ideas, and your voices. Today has shown that teenagers are not just leaders of tomorrow. We are already creating impact today. And to the World Teen Parliament, thank you for giving us this platform to be heard and grow. And to everyone here, let this not be the end but the beginning. Let's go out and turn our ideas into action. Thank you and have a wonderful day.